Big Will, ABC. How's it going, people? Big Will's right. This is a good game. Funnily enough, I've never gone back to watch it after the World Cup. This will be the second only viewing. I only remember this one being very, very, very tense. Very tense indeed. Sam, once again, in the freezer, bag in the freezer. We're good to go, Sam. How's it going, buddy? Let's go with the All Blacks. I think they might get this one done, just quietly, but I think it's going to be tight. I may not have thought that in 2015. Nathan, how's it, man? How is it going? Jonathan, how are you, sir? This one's a bit of a tough one to take, or is this one still a good watch from a box point of view as well? From South Africa, I know. How's it, man? I'm going to skip to 43 minutes. If you guys haven't seen, 43 minutes, because this is like a 3-hour version. I guess it's just a full recording of the actual game. There's nothing cut out. I'm going to skip to 43 minutes. Hope the Springboks win. Either way, it's going to be close, brother. No beers for me tonight. Got to work tomorrow. I've got to work tomorrow as well. I got to work tomorrow too. I've only watched this game once. Yeah, you and me both, man. You and me both. Even though it's a New Zealand win, I remember it being a big relief more than anything else. I'm doing well. I am doing well, man. Yep. I am doing pretty good. Honestly, one of my favorite matches since I started watching rugby 2011. Locked in at 43 minutes. Good man. Yeah, 43 minutes because there's too much preamble for this one. So we're going to start at 43. Yeah, this is like, I mean, if you don't know, previous week to this one, the All Blacks just absolutely blitz France in a totally one-sided but fun game to watch. But this is like proper tension, two heavyweights, toe-to-toe, neither really able to dominate. One just sneak it. So, yeah. This was my first World Cup that I actually knew, played, understood rugby. It was heartbreak even after the World Cup. I had the poor Alistair Coetzee era. But I guess this World Cup, this game, I really showed like how far the Boks bounced back after a poor start to the World Cup, right? Like even when they seem down, the Boks are not out of it. Rugby League possibly starting 28th of May. Those guys are optimistic, but Australia and New Zealand are doing not too bad in terms of the count. Big Will. Cheers, man. Beer's ready. It's cold. Let's get cracking. Cheers, boys. Thanks, Big Will. I hope the missus has given you the lounge, brother. If not, I hope the bedroom is comfortable. Timaru, how's it going, man? Is it cold down there? Red card for NRL. Good sign. Yeah. Started your channel. Good man. What did you open with? All right, I think we should get cracking. God, I could use a beer. I'm still pretty stocked up with the beers. Big Will keeps buying me beers. He's a gentleman. Got the lounge. Living the good life. Good man. Right. If you haven't seen it, the link to this stream is in the description to the game itself. I'm going to get cracking. I'm skipping to 43 minutes because it's a 3-hour jobby. So we're going to start with the anthems and the haka. I couldn't skip those. I was tempted just to go straight for kickoff, but now we need to get a little bit of build up just to set the mood. All right, I'm getting countdown 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Semi-final. Let's start. This is a first for me to watch with the ITV feed as well, because obviously when I was in New Zealand, I would have been watching the New Zealand feed. So, yeah. Good morning, America. Man, Mark, you're up early again, 2 a.m.? I'm starting to remember the time that you're up when you're here. 2 a.m. Yep, Big Will, let's go. Not too fun for a French fan. Thankfully, man, I'm not watching the week before, right? That one was a pretty painful one from the French point of view. Stuff it, I'm going to have a beer. Good, man. Beers are on. Hope Big Will's... What are you drinking, Big Will? Just an intro, right? You got to start something. 2 a.m. I've got it locked in now. I know that 9 p.m. here is 2 a.m. there. Are you going to stay up and watch the whole game? It's like 2+ hours. Be up to 4 a.m. It'll be sunrise. Man, I forgot Ben Franks went to this one. Oh, Nihi Milner-Skudder when he was still fit. Sonny Bill looks a bit younger. Not surprising. Old Prime Minister. Great Northern beer. Right. Good morning. Just popping in to say hello. Can't stop. I've got to sort the kids out this morning. Hope you have a good one. Cheers, Tim. I hope the kids behave. My kids are in bed. At some point, I'll do another late for you guys one, early for me one. So you guys can actually have a beer if you're up in the Northern Hemisphere. Do you think New Zealand let players play overseas and still play for the ABs? Nah, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. I think New Zealand Rugby likes keeping the control of the guys here in New Zealand. And there's talk that all this virus stuff may see fewer players travel overseas. We will see. Cold as hell in Christchurch. How is it where you are? In Auckland? I'm all good with just the All Blacks jersey, man. Nothing on under here, so it's pretty comfy. All right, New Zealand anthem is done. Are we skipping ahead? Yes, Alaround. We are at 45:45 on the YouTube feed, so that's just finished the New Zealand anthem. We are on to the South African anthem now. Yes. April, hey, how are you? 46 minutes now. Bok anthem has just started. Do they have Great Northern in New Zealand? I have never seen it. Never seen it. Lolly drink my poison. Smirnoff 7%. Man, come on. I haven't had that since I was like 21. Okay, maybe 24, 25. Chris, how's it, man? This is not going to be the most fun watch for you as well, but it is a tight game, this one. Jerome Kino, yes, all good. The wife's working. See you soon. All right, man, Tim. Take care, buddy. Hope the kids behave. Favorite player is Ben Smith. Ben Smith is a likable chap. I can understand that. Afternoon, Grant. You got a jumper on in Brisbane, Sam? Big Will, tell me it's not jumper weather in Brisbane. New Zealand are doing well in COVID-19. All the global newspapers are praising your Prime Minister. Yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, it kind of helps to be a small island in this bottom of the world where it's kind of easy to lock yourself down and small population. We've got some advantages, but yeah, we're doing all right. 2 cases today, 2 new cases. No more deaths. So far, so good. And you're allowed to get takeaways now. You're allowed to buy McDonald's and other stuff, as long as it's takeaway. Hot as in Thailand. I'll bet. A-grade South African beef in that side. You are not wrong. Heineken Meyer like them big. Excellent. Something to chillax to. Oh, I need to look for that wine. It's on my shopping list. I'm going on Monday next week, so I'll add the Villa Maria to my list. It's on there. I just got to buy it. About 20 degrees. Come on, man. 20 degrees isn't cold. Not really, Sam. I know. Houses in Brisbane aren't built to hold in the heat, so maybe 20 is actually cold. Haka time. If you're joining us, we're at 48:35. The haka is just starting. Oh, man, Big Kev. That's a pretty good All Black side, isn't it? Big Will's in a singlet and stubby. See, Sam, I told you, man. Mr. Rugby fan, hey, how's it going? Which haka is your favorite? I mean, I do like kamate. There's something kind of traditional about kamate. But this kapua pongo is like unique to the All Blacks. It's their own haka, whereas kamate is actually a traditional one from one of the tribes. Warm in London at the moment. Good stuff. Good. Last tight game between these two for 2 years. You think this year was when the rot started for the Boks with the losses to Argentina and Japan? I would actually like to look at the squad list from this game to the next game the Springboks played, because it would have been a bit of an overhaul, right? There would have been a few guys who weren't available. It's cold by Brisbane standards, but it's hot summer if you're a Kiwi. That's why so many Kiwis like moving to Brisbane. Watching Two Cents live stream when I should be working. Just don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble. We are about to kick off. A younger-looking Hondre Pollard has got the ball in his hands. The stream, the YouTube mark is at 50 and 25. We have kickoff, people. I hate how McCaw does his haka. Don't pile on. I still love him. Some guys look better at doing the haka than others. That's true. He always looks a bit rigid. But he's a top bloke, so we won't hold it against him. Under 20s do the mean haka. I've been tempted to watch like an under 20s game as well. Like an under 20s World Cup or something. This game never should have been so tight. New Zealand discipline cost them, so they're going to never look like scoring. Chills down the spine, says Big Will. To be honest, I thought the All Blacks were going to really... Whoa, early break from Jesse Creel. I thought the All Blacks would win pretty easily. The Boks, they lost to Japan, but that's not a huge thing by this point because the tournament's already moved on a long way. They kind of beat Wales, not by a whole lot from memory, but the All Blacks like smashed through France, and I thought, yeah, we should win this one pretty easily, but no, not at all. Pick my All Black 23 on Tuesday. Be prepared for criticism because people will always do that. Don't take it too much to heart. Sometimes I struggle with that. Haka's already making me tear up. This is the team I remember my dad telling me about when I used to ask about the rules of the match being part from the moment. It's true, man. True. I feel that. I feel like this is the team that I'm going to be telling my boy about. Like the way my old man talks to me about some of the old guys who are like before my time. I'm going to be sitting there in my rocking chair saying, oh, that Dan Carter, he's better than these blokes nowadays. And my son will be saying like, nah, Dad, that time they didn't play rugby properly. Now the game's a lot faster. And I'll be saying like, nah, Dan Carter was the package. Richie McCaw, blah, blah, blah. Next game for the Boks was the BF against the Pumas in 2016. Okay. Early lead for the Boks after 2 minutes and 50. 3 points to nil. Alaran, oh my lord. Should cover a percentage of that bottle of Villa Maria. Cheers, brother. All right, I have to buy it now. I've been kind of umming and ahhing about it. Last time I went to the supermarket, looked for the wine section, there were too many people. And with the social distancing thing, I was like, no, I'm not browsing wine right now. I will man up and I will get myself some wine. Thank you, man. Hope you're well. Flishin, morning. I was playing, indeed. Andrew Mertens and Jeff Wilson used to make Big Will giggle doing the haka. Again. Can't stand this ref. What's his name? I'm so bad with names. Is it Poit? Ali Williams was the man at the haka. He got into it. He got in a bit of trouble because he would always kind of creep forward. He really wanted to get face-to-face with his opponent. I feel like I'll be talking about Sia Khaleesi when I'm an old man like that. You probably will, man. If you haven't seen that player play in like around about that time, I don't think you can really appreciate it. Like when my dad talks to me about some of the players, it just goes because it doesn't. Good mark. It doesn't mean that much if you haven't seen it. It's just less real. Ali was good. Reed is good. Sonny Bill doesn't squat down enough. Okay. April, what do you think about when you see the basketball guys do the haka? I admit, I'm already a bit biased because I don't like seeing the squeaky shoes on the floor. It's really off-putting for me. Did you know that Samoa were 8th in 2013? Man, Matthew, you've always got the rugby facts. You're like the trivia king for rugby stuff. Samoa have fallen quite a long way. They did used to have a lot better players than the ones they do now. I think a lot of the guys just stopped playing for that team, right? Oh, man, I remember that try. Big try. Gus says, oh, yes, that's right. Sorry. Yeah, this Gus says, man, I'm terrible with names, especially for refs. Jump to the end of the haka because the old videos, it makes you laugh. Yeah, the old way they used to do the haka was not particularly very good. Like for all the arguments about the haka makes an unfair advantage to the All Blacks, like the All Blacks' good rugby record goes back a long way. And I would argue, have a look at those old hakas and tell me that was the reason the All Blacks won those games. Basketball haka is lame like the 1905. Never seen it, Mark. I don't like basketball. And then grab the haka, but picky with the haka. It's about the sprint intention as long as they give it a go. Fair enough. I mean, the main thing I don't like about it is they're on a wooden floor with basketball shoes on. So when they do the stamping and stuff, it just it makes squeaking sounds. And it really takes me out of the moment. I can't engage with it. Anyway, yeah, Kino, big fella, couldn't make the official Super Rugby team of the decade. He's going to get it again. Oh, I forgot about this. Wow. Does he kick the second one? Because the margin in this game is, spoiler alert, pretty tight. Have seen the All Blacks ice hockey team do the haka? Now you're joking. That can't be a thing. You can't do it on ice. Mustard hadn't made his debut at that point. Oh, man. Pity Whipple with the haka, true. Watching old haka videos of Tana Umanga is sick. It's true. The squeaking would annoy you. Yeah, it's really off-putting for me. Right. So he got a second shot at 2 points. Interesting. Kano was so good, and we really noticed when he retired. I feel like he was a little bit quiet for a while when he first came back from Japan, right? But he still kind of got back into it. Working from home and watching with one eye, Chris. I'm working from home as well, but my work day is done. We had big issues at blindside after him. We haven't been able to get a consistent guy to always be there. We've kind of rotated between Squire and a few other guys as well. That conversion was vital in the end. Yeah, I hadn't realized that they let him take it twice. Obviously early charge, so they let him do it. It's the Haka compilation on YouTube. Who would I put in your 23 for the All Blacks? Start with Adi Savia. He's pretty good, even though he's been injured. TJ's a beast in the Haka. Indeed. 4 minutes of rugby, 4 minutes DC kicking a conversion. I feel like, because this one seems to be just like a direct from live TV recording. Like some of the ones that the official sites have re-uploaded, they've cut out some of that stuff, hey? That's why they're only like an hour and 20 minutes. They cut out a lot of the faffing about. Who do you rate is better, Creel or a person like Creel? He's more diverse player, convey 13, 14, 15, done about other positions. I think maybe at 13, but if you're going to have a guy for squad play, definitely Creel is very versatile. I kind of still regret the fact that they forced Creel to come into 13. I kind of liked him as a 15, but I'll never know. Wasn't that a forward pass to kind of flat? Squire is a loss, to be honest, needed at the Rugby World Cup. He is the most proper blindside of the guys we've had filling in that role for sure. World Cup, they didn't have someone solid at blindside, so they moved others around, lost height, basically ruined everything. Yeah, they ended up faffing about with different guys at 6, and it never really looked like a solid plan, did it? Start Arm and have Creel off the bench. I like that because Creel can, literally cover half the back line. He's the next best thing to Franstein. What happened with Squire? I think he had some personal issues, eh? That seems to be what came out in the media, and they... bit of a high one on LaRue. They kind of suggested that he and Steve Hansen came to an agreement that he might be called up, but they never did. Squire wasn't chosen even though he was available. Yeah, I think he said he was going to make himself available under certain conditions, but they didn't end up calling him up. Did you know Bowden Barrett's going to have a child? Yes. It'll be interesting to see if that slows him down, because you certainly get a lot less sleep when you have children. He will be looking forward to those away games at times. I kind of say that in jest. I love my kids. They are fun. I was playing with my Transformers today, which I found with my son. So that was good. But I prefer him now that he sleeps through the night, to be honest. He used to wake up a couple of times. Atmosphere must have been amazing. Yeah, I think this is one of the classic games that you would proudly tell someone you attended if you got the chance to, right? You would look to drop this game into conversation at any chance, right? Like some people said, this should have been the final, right? Because of that scoreline. Hansen lost his selection mojo. It was crazy. Loads of shifts. It was obvious for a couple of seasons. Yeah, like I don't mind a bit of rotation because I think it was it John Mitchell that had like his set team and there was no deviating from it. But when they got injuries, people really looked out of place. Like I don't mind a bit of rotation to give guys some opportunities, but it's still got to look like you've got a plan. And you're right, April. It always kind of looked like a bit piecemeal. Reed would have been yellow in 2019. Man, you might be right. They have really tightened up on anything high. Remember when Samoa beat Australia 2011 World Cup warm-up? People have asked me to find that one to do a live stream, but I can't find a copy of the game. Yeah. Jacobson went down to, or he would have been 6. Yeah, that's true. Didn't he have concussion right before the World Cup? LaRue was awake for this game. He's catching the ball. LaRue looked sharp in this game so far, man. I was actually thinking that earlier when I saw him take that ball in competition with Milner Scudder. Yeah, I think LaRue looked a little bit off the pace at 2019. Still won a World Cup. But, yeah. Got to go catch a monkey. Wear gloves. Sounds dangerous. Bowden disappointed me with his comments in the jersey about not being revered enough in New Zealand. Hey, what did he say? That the jersey is not revered in New Zealand? Sorry, I missed that one. Were you like Bodie, 10 or 15? I think 10. But the fact that his goal kicking has let him down in the past, I think makes him maybe have lost a little bit of trust. Like the selectors have kind of lost a bit of trust in him to be the guy to do that. Mo'unga Barrett play in 2019 just wasn't the go. Yeah, it seemed like after losing to Ireland, the All Blacks were hell-bent on finding a structure to beat Ireland, and that was going to have two guys to play 10, basically, 2 10s. And they were going to kick the ball over the Irish rush defense because they only play with one guy at the back. They only play with, what's the old fella? God, I told you I'm bad with names. Rob Carney, because he's really good at his positional play. But it means there's a lot more space back there. So I think it did the job of beating Ireland, but it maybe wasn't applicable to every team they played. So it seemed maybe a bit overkill. If I was going to choose Geordie and Bodie, it would be Geordie at 15 and Bodie at 10. Pretty standard, I think. Not a risk taker. This was very close to a final game. I agree, man. That comment just skipped by and I missed the end of it. Where's my mouse? Over there. Very close to a final, could have easily gone the other way, whereas I would have felt nervous. Yeah, it was pretty close, man. The jersey is a book. He said that the ABs weren't appreciated or revered enough in New Zealand. Bro, I think you can't get much more kind of idolized in New Zealand than being an All Black, right? That's about as lofty as it gets. Like, you could cure COVID-19 and people will still be like, wow, you're good, but you're not an All Black. I don't know. We've had like loads of famous people, but the most famous ones tend to be All Blacks. I think it was Squid Rugby who said Bodie's the best player in the world, but not the best 10. He's a bit of a mixture of a lot of things, isn't he? It's kind of hard to define him into any one spot. Dublin game where the ABs were accused of violence affected their physicality and red cards. We got to focus on them. Didn't get the balance right. Yeah, I agree with that. Man. How fun is it to watch Habana playing rugby, man? How old was Habana at this World Cup? Not revered enough. Yeah, I agree with that laugh crying emoji. I think they rushed too quickly into Mo'unga and Bodie. I think they were partially rushed into Mo'unga and Bodie because Damian McKenzie got injured. He was always going to be that kind of like, it was always going to be Bodie and Damian with Mo'unga on the bench, I think, personally. But when he got injured and out for the World Cup, they had to act fast to rejig it. He's got a big head. Maybe he's been taken out of context. I don't know. I'd like to read it. I know sometimes journalists go for kind of headline grabbing stuff, but yeah, I can't. I mean, maybe there's some players who don't get appreciated that much. Like, I know Jonah Lomu was, I think, always more universally looked up to outside of New Zealand. Like, at the time, a lot of people didn't like Lomu. It was a bit of tall poppy stuff, but I wouldn't say it applies to most All Blacks players. I think Lomu was a bit of an exception in that regard. Sir Edmund Hillary is one that is, yeah, very well regarded. Selection panic and the selection burdens. Goal kicking is the issue. That's true as well. Henson's gambit with dual playmakers, even if it didn't work out. If we'd won 2019, everyone would be praising him for his audacious vision. Yeah, it's all about whether you get it right, eh? History decides whether you're like a genius or an idiot. Oh, what a turnover. But I think you look at this team and it seems like just a better all-round All Blacks team than the 2019 team. But, yeah. Maybe he wants New Zealand to mimic the US obsession with celebrities. It's not a New Zealand cultural thing to do that, though, eh? We do have a bit of a bad behavior where we try to bring famous people down, but like, yeah, New Zealanders don't do that kind of worship thing so much. If he wants that, then he should go overseas. Yeah, true. T-Mac will struggle with Geordie. I know. Geordie has kind of come of age a bit, even if they rushed him into the All Blacks a bit. They're just rugby players, indeed. Wasn't dual playmakers the idea result of D-Mac not being able to play? Yeah, exactly right, I think. D-Mac was kind of that universal guy that could fill a lot of roles and then was suddenly gone. Few tens who would be better than Bodie if they had more pace. Yep. That's very true. Imagine if Dan Carter had his pace. I mean, Dan Carter wasn't a slouch, but never quite had Bodie's acceleration. D-Mac versus Geordie Barra. Who do you prefer? Oh, if you asked me a year ago, I think I would have said D-Mac, but Geordie's a bigger guy, so he can do things that that D-Mac can't do in terms of getting a high ball. He can do this kind of Israel Folau impression. He's got a pretty good take. But then again, I guess with a lower center of gravity, D-Mac can do things that Geordie can't do as well in terms of his steps and whatnot. So I think I'd go Geordie at the minute with that big boot, but D-Mac has not played that much rugby in the last 12 months, so it's hard to say. What's with the All Blacks in the 22? You would never see that from the ABs these days unless there was a penalty advantage. They do seem to be playing a bit tentatively. Henry's rotation policy, history would have various limitations at the time. Yep. Rotation policy, resting players during Super Rugby for like half the season. Lots of things that people have tried and it hasn't worked. If you were watching France-New Zealand match a couple of years back in Wellington where France were red carded, had a really unimpressive win. I remember that. That was the second game, because the first one we'd given them a bit of a walloping. Second game, there was a red card early for a aerial challenge, and France went down a man, and it was like, man, this is going to be an absolute hiding, but it wasn't. Could if I can find it. Ben Smith was 15 and damn good 15. Yeah, they tried to make him a centre as well, but 15 was always his spot. Can't believe Ben Lamb won't be an All Black. Excuse me. James Lowe. Yeah, man, there's a few guys who never quite made it. At least the All Blacks didn't do the dirty on him and give him one cap and then send him away. Hurricanes by Geordie be useful at 12, big body coming through the line. Apparently that's where he wants to play, man. That's like his favorite position is 12, but nobody ever plays him there. He plays fullback, he plays right wing. He played 10 at the World Cup. I think he's played center for the Hurricanes, but they never put him at 12. It'll be interesting to see how Bodie's game changes when his pace starts to go. That is always the mark of a great player. Like, look at Habana. He's no way near as fast here as he was in his like younger days, but he's still able to perform because you need to have the nous. Can you go from behind the maul to sack it? I think if you can get your hands, if the ball's at the very back. Man, I hate the rugby laws. I know if you can get directly to the ball, then that's all right. I don't know. Someone else will know. If DC had Bodie's pace, then he would have been like a video game character with all the cheat codes enabled. Yeah. I mean, and Dan Carter wasn't slow. He just wasn't lightning. By this World Cup, he was slowing down a fair bit. But yeah, Bodie's pace is next level, isn't it? Ben Lamb was awesome at super level. Love to have him seen play international indeed. Nihi got a major injuries, was awesome at this World Cup. Yeah, some guys just have that real bad luck, I mean, at least he got this one World Cup to really shine. Oh, big line-out steal from the All Blacks. I'm at 27 minutes if you guys are just checking where you're at as well. I'd rather have Geordie as your goal kicker or D-Mac. They kick the same meters. Really? Can D-Mac kick as far as Geordie? Really? I know he can kick pretty far. Didn't Geordie slot one from almost like 60? Man, the Springboks at the breakdown still look really dangerous, especially Francois Lowe. I've seen Geordie play at 13, not 12. Yeah, same here. I've seen him play 13 for the Hurricanes, but I don't think I've seen him play 12. You remember Cowboy Shaw? Cowboy Shaw? No? That's a good point about pace. I wonder if that's why Iwan has been keen to play at centre. He's probably going up the same pathway as Tana Umanga. Yeah, Tana is a good example of a guy who had the rugby smarts to move infield. I think even Ma'a, remember he started on the wing, came into the midfield pretty early. So, yeah. If you want that real long-term career, I mean, you look at Julian Savia, when he started to lose a bit of his pace, he lost a bit of his impact. Hey? Rugby laws are so confusing. Yeah. Have you seen any global rapid rugby matches yet? I think in my life I've seen a couple. Yeah. I remember the reporters running on the field to do all kinds of interviews, like with the try scorers after they'd scored a try. That kind of stuff, I think, drove me a bit mental. But it was fun. And that was early days, I think. Maybe the first year when they were getting really massive crowds as well. Ben Smith and Dag. The only thing I didn't like about watching Israel Dag, and it's no fault of his own, everyone's got involuntary, like, bodily stuff that they do. Whenever he would run with the ball, he would have his mouth wide open. It was really weird to watch him running with his mouth open. Yeah. Everyone's got something. Something you do you don't know you do. Even if you know you do it, you maybe can't stop yourself doing it. Geordie does have a big boot. He knocked one over from 70 against the Jags. Massive boot. He's a big boy, man. He's like 6'4", 6'5", which is like as tall as Mara Toje. So yeah, I've seen Geordie play 12 for the Canes. Really, I can't remember it. Francois Lowe was such a beast, deserving of his win last year. Indeed, Shaw was a Manawatu blindside flanker. How long ago was that? Jamie Roberts started on the wing. No way. I don't remember that. I only remember him playing in the midfield. Jamie Roberts, man. Doing a Lomu impression, I guess. I always remember that winning try in South Africa by Dag. Mata breaks the line, running through John Smith, passes the Daggy try. Nice. Cowboy was a hard man. Well, I guess you don't get a name like Cowboy if you're a particularly soft guy. Alpha Squidge talks about Pollard saying he's never seen a number 10 who's fond of crash balls. Pollard is. Pollard isn't that fast, but he is very physical. Again, he's got the bodily size to do that more than a lot of 10s can. Like, you can't imagine the traditional 10 like Johnny Wilkinson trying a crash ball game. He's not going to get very far. South Africans always seem to be bigger than everyone. I don't know what they eat, man. Dag's facials. Yeah. You know. Jean de Villiers started at wing and moved to center. Wow, really? You don't have to watch sad matches like this. Man, this one's a classic. But yeah, the Springboks at the breakdown have been bloody lethal. Habana started at center and Franz Stein made his debut on the wing. Someone told me that Peter Steph Tutoya back in like high school used to play fullback, and then he had a growth spurt, and they were like, okay, you need to be a forward. Maya is so fast and accelerates so quick. Yeah. He never really seemed to age, eh? He just always seemed class. I don't know how he did it. Seen Bowden Barrett at 12. Didn't the Beast start at the number 8? Yeah, someone else told me that recently. Beast started at 8, but he was too slow. So they made him a prop. He's vegetarian. Wow. Dan Carter lining up a penalty. 32-15 on the match clock. Off the post. I don't remember that either. I was about to say, man, when you're watching the All Blacks back in these days, you were so much more certain that your goal kicks were going to go over than you are nowadays. But even Dan Carter had his moments. Ma'anono is a beast, best 12 ever. He'd be definitely one of them. Jean was always a centre. Jake White played him on the wing to include him in the team because he had the pace. South Africa has always been good and quick at the breakdown. They've definitely had some good pilferers. Big Wool doesn't do vegetarian. I also don't do vegetarian. But you never know. One of these days I may have a change of tune. I can't imagine it at the moment, but you never know. I know Toy played blindsided the under-20 champs in 2012 before moving to lock and then back to flank. Okay. Oh, call back. Far out. Wow. That would have been curtains, I think. TJ's a vegan. Wow. Played hooker at school, but I was just too slow for any other position. Yep, sometimes that's how things go as well. Oh, neck roll from the All Blacks. Can't do neck rolls. That's a pretty bad one. Man, so actually they could have let that go, really. I don't think I'll ever understand how when most of them go like super speed, they move their feet. Body seems to catch up. Yeah. Some guys look like they're running really fast, but don't run that fast. And some guys don't look like they're running fast at all, but just seem to glide. So that's a bit of a weird one. Is there a meat version of being a vegetarian? Don't quite think that's how that works. But they do have all those meat substitutes nowadays. You never know. Play fullback in schoolboy, but like 12, 13. Got a good throw, so you became the hooker. It's an important skill to have. I hate how they pronounce Vermeulen. What do they say? Vermeulen? I haven't been paying attention to the pronunciation. Says Peterson got called back for a Springbok penalty. That's what I was thinking as well, man. I guess they didn't know it was going to be a Springbok penalty at the time, but that's how it ended up. I think it was Moody that did that neck roll. But yeah, it was pretty bad. Apparently Jamie Roberts started at fullback, then moved to wing because Ben Blair was at fullback. Ben Blair. Wow, there's a blast from the past. Turnovers won is 4-2 to the Boks. I want to see the territory stats because I feel like it's pretty heavily in New Zealand's favour, even though they're behind on the scoreboard. Big scrum. I remember watching this game with my old man, and he hates Spider Cam. He hates it. Every time they do Spider Cam, he swears at the TV. Every time. I don't effing want to see this effing view. Show me the effing game. Can't tell what the F's going on. I don't mind it because sometimes you can. I mean, I can't really tell what's going on at scrum time, but you can see some things happening. Ooh. Springboks line out is costing them. Nobody likes French refs. Some players just get caps and you're not sure when. Roberts I hadn't heard of before moving to the Stormers, and he has 94 caps for Wales, and Serfontaine has over 30 caps for the Boks somehow. Jamie Roberts for a while was like the 12 that every team wanted to have and nobody wanted to play because he was just such a big crash ball runner, man. Bok lineups are terrible indeed. My old man used to yell at Grant Fox because he took ages. Yeah, well, I was Auckland, guys. I never used to yell at Grant Fox. I just Googled, there's opposite to vegetarian. It's called meatitarian. Watch the game, man. You need vegetables. You got to have vegetables. Make my kids eat their vegetables. I don't have to make them. They like them. Oh, man. Kano's gone to the bin. I don't remember this at all. I remember the end of the game. All Blacks discipline is pretty bad. Somebody said that at the start of the game. Was it Chris? Glad to see that he hasn't changed, Roberts. No, same. I find myself yelling at the scrummies these days. They take eons to make a box kick. That's true too. Pollard with the kick. 12-7. This is not going according to script, people. If a P-word didn't fail the drug test, do you think would have gone to the gone between Colby and Kossi? Colby would have gone, I think. Kind of teeth are so yellow. Is that his teeth or is that the mouth guard though? Did he have his mouth guard in? Like a clear mouth guard? I hope so. Gatland moved Roberts to the midfield because he felt we lacked physicality there. Well, you guys certainly didn't lack for it after he was there, man. I think that's where the term Warren Ball came from, is when he started playing in the midfield, right? So vegetable seeds. We do grow a few vegetables, but I know just prior to the lockdown in New Zealand, vegetable seeds were selling like nobody's business. Everyone suddenly wants to grow their own veggies. My younger sister only eats peas and beans. To force her to, we have to force her to stop eating fruit. My kids will go fruit all day long. They love fruit. Not a bad thing, man. I get the feeling this one doesn't cut out the halftime show. Or does it? Maybe this has a lot of post-match stuff. Pollard, the man, I know. What's a kick, eh? What a jacket. $12-7 halftime. Yeah, that was the start of Warren Ball. Well, you could do Warren Ball when you had a player like Jamie Roberts in his prime. Tried and failed to grow my own sourdough. Started because yeast is all gone in stores. Yeah, there's a long time we weren't able to buy any flour. Flour was gone for weeks. Pollard or Kerwin? I think Pollard. Kerwin's defense is still not quite there. Skip ahead, yeah. Chris wants to watch it. Elleron wants to skip. Are we going to skip? Okay, we'll skip. What minute are we skipping to? Anyone found it? Yeah, I've got halftime commentary on as well. Is it about 1:40? Yeah, we'll fast forward. I just skipped to 1:40. Yeah, 1:40. 1:40. I'm at 1:40 and 15 seconds, and they're milling about to kick. Cool. We're all about the same time then. I'm at 1:40:30 now. Good to see you. Saw the time. Yes, I'm taking care. I'm about to open a second beer, so it's a good time. We're about to kick off second half. I am at 1:40:50 now. Kickoff is just happening. Second beer. Still cold. Actually cold. Not even just cool. Cold. Cheers, everybody. What is your alcohol storage? It is just a cooler bag. Thermos. Cooler bag. 3 guesses why we bought this. Have I ever said why we bought this cooler bag? Oh, Big Will. Cheers, man. Cheers, Big Will. Are you back at work? Working from home. Cheers, man. Hope you've cracked one open as well. I mean, as is still having his lolly drinks. What are we watching next? Timestamp. I am at the game clock is at 41:30, so we're about to set a scrum. Next game, Black Ferns. I'm going to go the 2017 final against England. I've never seen it. Disgraceful. Never seen it. So the World Rugby put it on their site, which is cool. So we'll watch Black Ferns. Weather here is all right. 26 degrees. Good for growing veggies. It's a bit cold in the mornings here, I think, to grow much. This is also a vegetable growing YouTube channel. We had a lot of beans this year. Lots of beans. Back at work, you're a builder. The builder's here just gone back to work as well. So, yeah, good man. You can hear the game. I'll turn it down a little bit. Turn it down a little bit. Hopefully me jabbering over the top of it will fool YouTube's algorithm that I'm not broadcasting the stream anyway. Big Will is very kind. He keeps me liquored up. He doesn't make me go thirsty. Yeah, Black Ferns is a good game. Well, you mentioned it, April, that we should do some Black Ferns game. So I had a look around to see what was on the tube. I found that one. I thought, what a better place to start, right? So I'll do that on Saturday. Ben Smith, man, he was good under the high ball as well. Slippery like an eel. Good kick from Milner Scudder. It's a bit sad to think about him now, knowing that this is pretty much the pinnacle of his career because injuries are just going to ruin the rest of it. Black Ferns had a great game plan for that final against England. You guys will have to walk me through it because I really don't watch much women's rugby. I've watched a bit, probably more women's sevens than women's 15s. I've seen a few games, but nowhere near enough to have any insights at all. Struggle enough to have insights on the men's game. Just remember, Kendra Coxedge is not a very good goal kicker back then. Really? I've always thought, like, she's one of the few players that I would know by name and by face. Like, that if she was a man, she would be on whatever the biggest contract, like the All Blacks is. Like, I think it's Bowden Barrett with $1 million. She'd be on $1 million, man, because she is magic. I don't know what she's getting paid, but I'm sure it's not enough. Women's rugby is less physical, but often faster. Okay. Line out. I love it how Dan Carter just heads up is like, bugger this, I'm kicking a drop goal. And there was some talk about him being too old before this World Cup. New Zealand men's sevens aren't as even as good as their 15s. They get paid next to nothing. Yeah, that's what makes me a little bit sad about it. But I mean, I guess it's still a developing game. I know that the growth numbers there are good, so I will take solace in the fact that the game is growing. The referee is faffing about with his sock. DC first droppy in the tournament. Was it really? Because he takes the more well-known one in the World Cup final. But that one was reminiscent of the 95 World Cup, right? Where they would just take it and snap it over. Can't say I've watched too much women's rugby or sevens, but I'm keen for a live stream. Could drink a beer or watching women's 42. You're not wrong. Honestly, it's growing faster than the men's game over here. I mean, I know the men's game is more established, but there's like participation numbers in men's is going down, but in women's, it's the number one game in New Zealand for women in terms of growth numbers, which is awesome. It's putting the pressure on netball. Didn't DC kick a goal with his left foot in this game? I think in the final, he takes the final conversion with his. He is left-footed, so he takes it with his right foot. And he said somebody from the bench told him to do it. Whoever was the water boy that brought out the kicking tee told him to do it. Have you seen Portia Woodman's highlight reel? The only two women's players that I would like know, as I said, know their face, know their name, like know who they are if I bumped into them on the street, are Portia Woodman and Kendra Cox-Edge, I think. Those are like the two. They're both phenomenal players. Because the pro women's game only existed for such a short time, Tier 1 countries couldn't solidify their dominance as much as they did with the men's game. Oh, so the women's game was a bit more competitive, hey? Not a bad thing. Man, this yellow card feels like it's been going for an age, but the fact New Zealand scored 3 points with that droppage in it is certainly helpful. Women's team sports, full stop. Generally, yeah. Interesting how women's individual sports like golf and tennis can still pay pretty well. But the team sports, not so much. Why is the participation of the men's game declining? I think there's a few factors at play. I think some of it is parents don't want their kids playing rugby because it's a pretty physical game and they're worried they'll get hurt. They account some of it down to Kiwis who've gotten into other sports. Like we've got one guy in the Premier League, but more importantly, we got one guy in the NBA. And he gets paid a ton more than any rugby player can even dream of. Like the highest paid Kiwi in New Zealand is like Bodie on $1 million New Zealand dollars. That is chump change to what our guy in the NBA gets. So I think a lot of guys are looking at things like scholarships to American colleges and just bigger money than in rugby for a lot less physical pain. So basketball's growing pretty well. And yeah, I think there's a bit of just sports declining generally with people playing more video games and spending more time doing other things than sports. Liam Missam is the one who told Dan Carter, man, Matthew, you always got the trivia. You're right. It was Liam Missam. Liam, got to go. All right. Take care, Liam. They yell beast regardless of where he plays. Yeah, I do like that about the fact that they yell beast. I hope he likes it. Oh, big scrum from the All Blacks there. Still behind on the scoreboard. I remember being very uncomfortable watching this game. They should do a Super Rugby for women's. They do it in Australia. Like they call it Super W, and it's like the 4 Aussie teams, but that's it. I don't know. Ooh, that's around the neck. I think that's a penalty nowadays, but no. I don't think they would have the budget for like travel and whatnot across the Tasman or to South Africa or anything. I don't even know if South Africa has much in the way of women's teams. Sam, good Lord, man. Get yourself some red wine. Oh, Bodie. He's a Canes man. You'll like that. Former Canes man. Steven Adams is the NBA guy. Gets $22 million US. Yeah, I know Steven Adams is the guy. Cheers, Sam. I didn't know it was 22 million US. Oh my God, that is a lot of money. Like that would be more than the entire All Blacks 23 put together. Nonu, just that little shimmy and that final pass. Peterson probably should have pushed out wide. Did he bite in a little bit on Nonu? Maybe for half a second. I don't know. But cheers, Sam. I'll definitely get some wine. Red wine, I don't need to put in the fridge, right? Bro, don't laugh. Red wine just goes in the cupboard. Yes. Seems like Southern Hemisphere has better rugby, but not good pay. Oh, it's just the economies, eh? Fire. Who got yellow carded? I missed that. Too busy faffing about talking about wine. It's like 100 million New Zealand dollars. Maybe not quite that much, but it's a lot. Southern Hemisphere nations don't have the population to sustain those salaries. What a conversion. That is a thing of beauty. Yeah, I mean, I would say most professions pay more in England than they do here. So, yeah, including a rugby player. I remember thinking we had South Africa by 10, 15 points before this game. Yeah, we smashed France and they beat Wales without being overly convincing. I thought we had South Africa pretty comfortably as well, but there is something about All Blacks and Springboks games, hey? Red wine is room temperature. There we go. I knew that kind of. And Yakane's come on. Habana got the yellow card. What was that for? I totally missed it. Carter was so good in this cup. Yeah. I think Carter knew this was it. There's no World Cups after this one, so he just willed himself to perform. Peterson, never your favorite player. Yeah, never mind either. I had other favorites compared to him for sure. I'd like to see Dan Cole's jump for a slam dunk. Yeah, some guys don't have the physique to play basketball. That's true. Nathan, how's it going? Red wine is at room temperature, good to go. Okay, no need to put it in the fridge. We'll get the cooler bag. I forgot to say why I bought this thing. Breast milk. Breast milk. We bought these to store breast milk. That's it. Bono was cynical, place up the ball out of someone's hand. Okay. Oh my God, you're late. Chicken wings. The game clock is at 54:30. And yes, you're late. RJ, holy moly. Have a beer, bro. Might have to get another one. Beers are on. Cold beers. And maybe some room temperature red wine at some point. Cheers, man. I hope you're going well. RJ, I can see you've got the England rose there. I am tempted to go back and watch All Blacks England at some point. 2012, not 2019. 2019 is still too fresh. 2012. I'll think about it. I've had a bit of a detox of All Blacks losing games. This one's a stressful one without being too painful. It's definitely worse for the South African fans, but yeah, 2012 England All Blacks. I think at some point I may have to do. 1 million Kiwi rubles. I don't know what our currency is doing at the moment. I know around the lockdown it was at an all-time low against a lot of currencies. Hopefully it's a little better. Chicken wings, I have an excuse. You're eating KFC. Nice. There's been, I don't know if you know this, if you guys are outside New Zealand, but the last 4 weeks, we've been under level 4 lockdown, which means pretty much everything is closed except the supermarket, the pharmacy, the doctors, those are super essential businesses. Level 3 means a lot of places are allowed to open, but they're not allowed to do face-to-face. So all the restaurants are open doing deliveries and takeout. There's been queues miles long for McDonald's, for KFC. There's been crowds of people waiting outside other burger restaurants like Burger Fuel and whatnot. It's horrendous. It's been, people wanted some hamburgers, so chicken wings got some KFC. Probably did pretty well. The wine conversation. Sam is always on at me to drink cold beer. So, yeah, I've always prepared cold beer for the streams. And now if I drink red wine, he's reminded me to drink at room temperature. So I need to remember. Beer cold, wine room temperature. Do you watch much UFC? Because New Zealand has a few fighters. I watch it a bit. My dad is pretty into it, so he likes to talk to me about it. But I usually don't watch many fights if they're on pay-per-view. I might find the highlights or something. You can't not help watching Conor McGregor because the pre-fight antics are almost sometimes better than the actual fight. Who was the guy who knocked out in like 7 seconds? Was it Aldo? Man. Pollard has just kicked the penalty. Game clock is at 57:52. Turning me into an alcoholic. 2012, the stupid Ashton dive. I've never been a big fan of the whole swan dives thingies, but yeah. 30 pounds equals New Zealand 61.21. Okay. That's a fair chunk of change, man. YouTube takes 30%, I think. But yeah. That's still a lot of New Zealand money. I appreciate that, man. Chase that again. That's too much money. When are you going to do England, Australia 2003? I think not this Saturday, but the next Saturday. I think. You need to drink at least one glass of red wine in your next live stream. Bro, you guys are trying to get me drunk. I see what you're doing. Cheers, Big Will. Okay. Man, I have to get some wine. All right. I wasn't planning on going my next. I just got groceries today. I'll have to go back and get some more groceries. That's all right. I can handle it. But cheers, Big Will, man. Aileron's recommended Villa Maria, so that's what I'll look for. I know he's pretty knowledgeable on his wine, so. Watch JJ Wilson and Bellator. Young guy, very talented. Okay. How much do we need to donate for you to start drinking cocktails? I think I could probably make a Cuba Libre. I would know how to make that. Don't ask me to make much else because I wouldn't know what to do. Mixing alcohol gets you drunk faster. What's that saying? Like something about wine and liquor never been sicker? Wine after liquor never been sicker? Something like that. I've experienced that before when I ran out of things to drink and my friends offered me wine and I foolishly took it. But what was I, like 21? Yeah. I remember coming home, waking up in the middle of the night, needing to vomit, locking myself in the toilet to vomit. I woke up my parents, and in the middle of doing the deed, my mother knocking on the door saying, "Are you okay?" And I think I rambled something like, "I will never drink again." Yeah, that didn't last. Next live stream, yeah, Saturday. Same time as this one. Black Ferns, 2017. Saturday. I'll set it up after this one so you get it on the, like it'll be visible, I guess. You need to drink a whole bottle of wine in the stream. I may be getting a bit old for that. You're a bad influence. Yeah, apparently. That's all right. JJ Wilson is a Māori guy. Okay. And Bellator. Bellator is like the rival to UFC, right? It's like that other one. We can all do shots getting under the influence on live stream. Yeah. We could invent some kind of system where when the commentators say something or if there's like a certain type of score, you have to do something, but you'd have to not know the game you're going to watch. Like if you were going to watch Germany, Hong Kong from the World Cup repechage thing, like I don't know the score. Like if you drank every penalty, every try, I don't know. But only I would be seen to be doing it. If you guys were doing it or not, I'd have no idea. A lot of you guys on the stream aren't of legal drinking age anyway. Habana is about to come back on by the looks of things. It's 20 points to 15. We ordered one of everything on the menu. Well, to be honest, I ordered curry yesterday because I hadn't had a proper curry for a long time. Moscow Mule, vodka, ginger beer, and a dash of lime. Okay. Shot called a Springboks. That's got to be a joke, right? That can't be a real shot. Last time I got drunk, I vomited on my bed and slid in my own vomit in the hallway and hit my head on the front door. Epic 10 years ago. Live and learn. Holy moly. That sounds pretty bad. Pretty bad. That's not one that you want to, yeah. James Haskell is now a Bellator fighter. Yeah, I heard he was going into mixed martial arts. Surely there has to be a time you were wasted on the stream. When Japan beat Ireland at the World Cup, a couple of guys, one of them had sent me sake from Japan in the past. He sent me like I don't remember how much money. On the condition I got out the sake and drank it. So I did drink the sake. Every time someone touches the ball, you have to drink. Maybe a sevens game. Holy moly. Nah, you wouldn't survive that. Sonny Bill. You can make a pretty mean curry. Good man. My wife cooks curry sometimes, but only like a packet curry. So we ordered out for like a legit curry. It was pretty good. Although it was my daughter who's under 2. It was her first time to have curry. She wasn't keen. We ordered mild, obviously, for her. We ordered a couple of hot ones. Oh, Sonny Bill with the kick through. Habana gets it down. Yeah, my daughter wasn't keen. My son was into it. Grant wasn't lying. Springbokkies are awesome shots. Okay, tell me what's a Springbokkie. I feel like I don't want to know. Amarula and peppermint liqueur. What's Amarula? I am not knowledgeable in this, apparently. I once made curry for my mum on Mother's Day and she got sick from it. Happy Mother's Day. How does this game end up? UFC fighter Alexander Volkanovski played rugby league in Australia, weighed 215 pounds, but he's now fighting 145. Holy moly. Amarula is a South African cream liqueur. Maybe that's why I haven't heard of it. Since this channel started, though, I have tried. What was that Namibian beer? It's got fancy writing. So I have expanded my horizons because of you guys influencing me to drink stuff. It's a cream-based liqueur flavored with some fruit native to South Africa. Creme de menthe and amarula represent the colors of Springboks kit. Oof. Yeah, no ethanol. Windhoek, that's right. I did try me some Windhoek since doing the channel. I bought it from a a South African grocery store on the North Shore, which is the other side of the city from where I live. So I bought it online. Didn't go there, but yeah. It's the only place I could find it. Best Namibian beer is Windhoek Lager. I don't remember. I think I had the draft, to be honest. I think it was all they had. Are you really doing 2003? I'm going to have to be drunk to watch that again. If only you know how much pain that has caused up here since then. You know, funnily enough, I wanted England to win that one. But yes, I will be doing 2003. Maybe I should do it early in the morning so you can drink. The early in the morning, my time will be nighttime for you. I'm going to try the Windhoek Lager. Yeah, it's not bad, man. It's a pretty good drop. I mean, again, I'm no connoisseur, bro. I'm drinking flipping Hagen, so don't take my word for it, but it's pretty nice. First time I got drunk, I power chucked in my bed and slid down the hallway, smashed through the door, and broke your arm. I don't think that's a true story. Aren't you like 12, Matthew? You're still playing schoolboy rugby. Don't do those things. Drink responsibly. You should seriously have friends around you, though, if you're going to drink a lot. You need someone to look after you if you get yourself into a bit of trouble. Favorite World Cup final, 2015. 2015 was a pretty good one. Austrian beer is pretty awesome. I don't know that they sell any Austrian beer over here. They sell the odd German one. They sell a couple of Japanese beers, although always brewed outside Japan, like brewed under license. They sell the standard ones, Corona, which sales not doing well, Heineken, Stella, pretty stock standard stuff. First time I got drunk, I talked to a dead cat. I can't even remember the first time I got drunk. If you get Windhoek Lager, you have to do Namibian biltong. Don't tell other South Africans I said that. Well, I'm sure the place that sold the Windhoek sells some biltong, so maybe I'll see if I can order some and have that for the live stream after I do the red wine. How's that for a plan? Biltong. I've never tried it. I could try it for the first time on a live stream. How about that? That sounds like a plan. Tried Jaeger bomb shot once and hit you hard, never did it again. I've tried Jaeger bombs. Yeah. Probably not the best idea. It's Pat Lambie taking this kick. He always looks like he's like 18 years old, right? How old is he at this World Cup? He must be in his late 20s? Mid to late 20s? 27? Germans always think they have the best beer, but Europeans know. What a kick for a guy who's not been on the field long. 18 points to 20. If I had a penny for every time I hear that line, Johnny's... When I was 10, this game was on. I was shaking the whole way. Yeah, I remember watching this game and being entirely uncomfortable pretty much the whole time. I think I really wanted Dan Carter to get a World Cup as well, because the previous one didn't really count for him. My cousins, all 10 of us, got on the piss. Was funny as seeing my younger cousin get messed up. Only problem was your nan has always been against drinking. Yeah, I've been to a few like functions or whatnot where you see a family member get on the drinks, or maybe your friends, but definitely still take care of those people. One day that might be you, so... Caffeine and Jaeger bombs very bad for your heart. Okay. I hadn't thought about that aspect to it, but yeah. Generally just not a very good idea, I would have thought. Tried to get me, you're only 12. Yeah, man. You're 12 years old. You got plenty of time to start drinking. No rush. Ease your way into that. And don't let anyone force you into doing it, because peer pressure is real. Oh, man. The All Blacks are under all kinds of pressure here. Turned 25 during this World Cup the same day they played Wales in the quarterfinals. No way. Pat Lambie was the Lima Sapawanga equivalent. Yeah, that's true. Would you be doing yourself a favor by tasting? You would be doing a favor by tasting biltong. Okay. I'll take your word for it. This is where you started to panic. Look at the look on Steve Hansen's face. I mean, he's got a poker face, but even he looks worried. If you can remember the first time you got drunk, then you did it wrong. That's probably a fair call. I remember when I was like a teenager, I was cheap. Nothing's changed. But I used to take a little bottle of Bacardi rum, put it in my pocket when I went to a bar because I found the drinks at the bar too expensive. So I would buy one drink at the bar and then excuse myself to go to the bathroom quite frequently to drink from my little bottle of Bacardi, which I guess is a trick if you're a 12-year-old and want to learn how to save money from going to bars. But generally, it just makes people think that you've got a bladder problem because you're going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. Don't be cheap and just buy a few beers. Bing Crosby. Side of the boot from Aaron Smith. Weirdly, I never panicked in this game. All Blacks only lose when I'm not watching. I was very stressed watching this one. When I was a former alcoholic and when I was little, she came home one night holding a massive stop sign and a small tire. Man, that's not good. Wow, the All Blacks managed to steal that line out. Nice. Yeah, one of my mates when I was in China, Texan guy, he never drank because his dad was a big-time alcoholic. He never touched a drop. Never. He'd never had and he never would. Like he wasn't overly religious or anything. He went to church, but no, he just wouldn't touch alcohol. Not at all. Under no circumstances. And I saw him put under a bit of pressure to try some as well. No. Not a drop. Rain isn't helping. Yeah, it's gotten a bit messy. Both sides are making some mistakes. That's true. How do you think the ABs are going to play now that they have a new coach? I can't imagine there'll be any titanic shifts with Foster because he was the assistant, so they should be on the similar mindset, I would have thought. When I was drunk, I once stole a exit sign from a restaurant, emergency exit. It wasn't nailed to the wall, so I pinched it. So you do stupid stuff when you're drunk, man. You shouldn't steal. Chiefs only lose when I'm not watching because they lost to the Brumbies and the Hurricanes. Yeah. Box. I love the box, so I also don't stress. You don't mind who wins. It's kind of win-win. That's a fair call as well. South Africa have a bar close to where I live that has 2 Rand wine, which is equal to 18 cents, which is rough and extremely cheap. I don't know if I'd be drinking that if it was 18 cents. But if it was like $2 for a small glass of wine, I'm sure it still wouldn't be very good. Just don't do stupid stuff in North Korea if you're drunk. Yeah, North Korea is not a place you want to do anything stupid anytime. 6 minutes to go. Does Aaron Smith play the 80? When does he go off? What was everyone like when they found out Hansen became the new coach for the ABs because everyone hates Ian Foster? I know a lot of I find like my dad is like, because he listens to a lot of talkback radio, he's like my kind of measure of what the everyman in New Zealand is thinking. He was not keen on Hansen to be All Blacks coach. Not at all. R2 wine sounds like an extremely late harvest. Is that why they can make it so cheap? I told a friend that was sleeping to shut up because he was speaking too much. That was your first time drunk. Oh, man. Yeah. I've got more drunk stories that, everyone's got drunk stories, but nah. I think other people's are generally worse than mine, I hope. Wow, JP Peterson managed to get a hand to that one. Less than 5 minutes to go. This is great chat. Yeah, this is there's been plant growing, and then as soon as we got onto the drunkenness, the chat's gone kind of wild. Not a bad thing. Worst things you could be talking about. My judo coach at 60 years old drunk trying to steal a sign in Paris. He was a magistrate in his town. Wow. Yeah, my maths teacher in high school, secondary school, was an Irishman. And I do recall the day after St. Patrick's Day, we had maths class in the morning, and we went to our classroom where it's his room, and he wasn't there. So they had a relief teacher come after about 10 minutes to come and just set us down to do some work. Now, he was an old fella. He would have been in his 50s or 60s, probably 60s actually, when I was in school. Like fully gray hair. We saw him because our classroom was next to the entrance. He stumbled down the hill into the campus with his hair like fully dyed green. And he was still well gone from the night before. He did not come into our classroom. Well gone. Stuff said Henson is more manipulative than a politician. Wow. Sound like a bunch of alcoholics. In moderation, right? Done. Waiting for the day Mark is smoking a joint through the live chat. That you would donate for. If I smoked a joint in the house, yeah, you might see that. And then you would see my wife murder me. So you'd get to see a murder on the live stream. That'd be cool. Kind of. Yeah. She would not approve. Chiefs versus Brumbies 2013 final. Yeah, we'll get there. I've been sticking to internationals at the minute. One of these days we'll do a Super Rugby game. A 3-minute scrum. Ooh. Dan Carter thought about the drop here and didn't go for it. Oh, and we've knocked it on. Favorite drinking song? Run out of beers. Well, I do have other beers, but only one of them is cold. And with a minute left in this game, maybe a minute, I don't think I'm going to get through it. Big tackle by Damien Delende for Sam Cane to knock that on. My wife will need it when she gets to menopause. Give it a few years. It took a turn from drunk stories to murder. Yeah. My wife doesn't approve of smoking pot. And I should say, though, I had a pretty crack-up moment the other day. So I've been playing Rugby 20 on the PlayStation 4, right? And I played this guy, and he added me as a friend on PlayStation. So I was like, okay, that's cool. Every now and again, he sends me a message, hey, man, do you want a game? And I'm like, okay. And he kicks my ass every time we play. I'm getting slightly closer because I've not been playing very long. He kicks my ass every time. He sent me a message one night, and he says, like, I've known this guy like a week online, and he just says, hey, just FYI, I'm super stoned, so you might actually have a chance tonight. And I was like, cool. Guy I'm playing is super stoned. He still beat me. But it was close. But yeah. 80 minutes on the clock. The Springboks need to go the length of the field to win this one. Both halfbacks played the 80, huh? Timestamp. Yeah, I'm at 80 minutes and 20 seconds. 6 phases the Springboks have gone. Willie LaRue has just stepped in a halfback. 7 phases. That's it. Game is over. Far out. Well, that was a bit less tense the second time round. They won by that first conversion. Yeah, man. Dan Carter kicked another one from the sideline a bit later on. Someone said at the start of the game, the Boks never really looked like scoring a try. Maybe that's true. Springboks punished the All Blacks in terms of their disciplinary mistakes, though. They just kept that scoreboard ticking over for ages. Tell her to eat it then. I'll give it a few years and see if I can convince her. Yes, Alaran, I will see you Saturday, man. Black Ferns. See if I can get me some wine. See if I can pop to the supermarket at some point between now and Saturday. Should be a bit of fun. Not as exciting as this game, but Epic Box versus AB's match. Yeah, it was a good game. Tense. Again, not as tense. This is why you can't go into games knowing the result. Like, I can't watch games that often knowing the result. Like, I try to avoid spoilers at all costs for that same reason. Thanks, 2 Cents and the 2 Cents Rugby community. See you for the next one. All right, Big Will. Cheers, man. Black Ferns on Saturday. I'll see you boys and girls there. Thank you, Jonathan and April, for being a bit of a, keeping the chat going, basically. You had some quite fun stuff to share there with everything going on. Grey College against Christchurch, maybe. I'll have a look at it. Thanks, Mark, for a great chat. Pay £1,000 if you bring some pop brownies the next time. I've got stories to tell about pop brownies, but I don't know if I'll be making any. Anyway, cheers, everybody. Take care. And, I'll see you all again for the next one. See you guys. Cheers.